I'm sure most people are familiar with the saying, when you're in a hole, stop digging. It's great advice, right? When you find yourself in a hole of your own design, just stop digging. You're only going to make the problem worse. Apparently, Donald Trump has never heard that because on Monday, during his little, Q&A with reporters while meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Trump decided he wasn't going to lash out at reporters for asking him about Jeffrey Epstein. Instead, he was actually going to answer their questions. And then it proved to be one of the biggest disasters he has had since this scandal broke. Because Donald Trump gave an explanation, his personal version of the story, as to why he stopped being friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And it had nothing to do with the things that Jeffrey Epstein is, of course, now infamous for doing. Instead, Donald Trump says he stopped being his friend because he was poaching his employees. And here's what Trump said. For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. Okay. Now, at that point, that's when you need to say he was human trafficking, right? He did something inappropriate, and that was human trafficking and having sex with minors. But instead, Trump said he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help, and I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. And he did it again. And I threw him out of the place. Persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. Jeffrey Epstein has done a lot of inappropriate things. In fact, again, that's what he's known for and will forever be known for throughout history. That's why he was arrested twice. That's why he was facing trial before he was found dead. Because of the inappropriate things. None of those inappropriate things, by the way, involved taking people that worked for Donald Trump and getting them to go work for him. But Trump says that's what did it. He had known the guy for decades. There is no doubt whatsoever that Trump had to have known what Jeffrey was doing. I mean, Trump even admitted in the same breath that he had been invited to the island. And yet that you let all that slide, but then, hiring somebody that worked for you, for him, that was the line in the sand for Donald. Don't take my people. And in fact, there actually is evidence to back up the fact that yes, Epstein did do that. So for once, it seems like Donald Trump is clearly telling the truth. That's why I stopped talking to him. But here's where that becomes a problem, not just because it means Trump was probably okay with the kitty diddling, but not with poaching his employees. It's that the White House has spent the last several weeks telling us that Donald Trump ended that relationship because Epstein was, quote, a creep. In fact, Stephen Chung, that little goblin, said that Trump and Epstein had a falling out because Trump thought he was a creep. The fact is that the president kicked him out of his club for being a creep, said Stephen Chung. And then you have Caroline Leavitt, who just a couple weeks ago said this. It's not news that Epstein was a member of the Mar-a-Lago club because it's the same club Donald Trump kicked Epstein out of for being a creep. Now, being a creep is what these people use to suggest Trump knew what Epstein was doing. Which, by the way, this all happened before Epstein was ever investigated and arrested. So either you're admitting that Donald Trump knew Epstein was committing atrocious, human rights crimes and didn't report it, or you're saying that the guy was a creep because he was poaching employees. Because creep could just mean really anything you want it to. So maybe that's why the White House used that very vague, nondescript word, right? He was a creep. So we kicked him out. Because the public, of course, would think, oh, he's a creep because of the kid stuff. But apparently not. Either way, Donald Trump's story does seem to contradict what his White House has spent several weeks selling to the press. So, as per usual, he opened his mouth, and instead of making the scandal go away, or at least making it better, he ended up making it so much worse and basically ensuring that it's going to survive yet another news cycle. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.